I mean, let's be real. Let's be real with ourselves and honestly say that WrestleMania this past weekend was a fresh pack of mid. It's okay. It was a fresh pack of mid, meaning it wasn't bad and it wasn't good. It was kind of in between, but like a weird in between. Well, let's get to what I feel about it. This is not a review. This is not a review by any stretch of the imaginations. I just wanted to give my thoughts on WrestleMania weekend as a whole and my thoughts on how the show was put together. You know, from the Hall of Fame speech all the way through night one, night two. Now, I'm not gonna get and waste my time and talk about the filler of the show. It was a lot of filler. Night one, night one itself could have. It was just an over glorified SmackDown. A lot of that shit could have been on SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? I have so many thoughts, but I'll get to that in a second. But first and foremost, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame was really nicely put together. But the thing that really kind of drove me crazy, and I know it drove a lot of people crazy that was sitting there and had to attend that shit live because it was so goddamn late. Why in God's green earth did the WWE think that it was a bright idea to start the Hall of Fame at 12 midnight over here on the East Coast, but 10 o'clock p.m. over there at Vegas because they're 2 hour difference? That's insane. I'm sure no one on this coast or a good portion of people on this coast didn't get a chance to see it and probably seen it on demand like I did the next day because ain't no way in the hell I was going to stay up and watch what I already knew was going to happen, which was Triple H being long-winded. You know, that's part of his thing. Triple H, the game. Ugh. But I get to the game in a second. But Hall of Fame speech, I enjoyed. You had Brett, you had Austin accept their award for great match. I think it's I can't even Invincible award or something like that. I can't remember what the exact title of the award is, but it's when you get an award for having basically a classic match. And WrestleMania 13's match between Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin is undoubtedly a classic. And arguably it's one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. And it's one of the greatest matches, period, of all time. Because it was so multi-layered. I remember watching it live when it happened, at the time it happened. Because again, I'm a huge Bret the Hitman Hart fan. That's my guy. That's my GOAT. Everybody's entitled to their GOATs. Bret's mine. That was the guy that I grew up liking. And I remember watching this match. And before I watched this match, I never seen a double turn. I never seen it done at the level that it was done where in that match, as far as a guy going in as a heel and leaving as a babyface and vice versa when it comes to his opponent. And that match pulled that off with the greatest of ease in a masterful way. I would have never thought as a Bret Hart fan that Bret Hart would be the villain, the bad guy. He'd be the guy being booed. He'd be the guy flipping people off as he leaves the ring up the aisle, which he started to do. You started to see an edge from the Hitman. And me being a fan of heels, I loved it. Because now it's like, my guy's showing some edge now. He was a tweener. And that's what he later became. Austin becomes the wildly popular anti-hero, and then the Attitude Era is born. That match arguably spurred the Attitude Era. That match created and spawned Austin 316, the anti-hero character. Without that match, without that double turn, Stone Cold might not come into the lexicon the way we seen it come into the universe as far as how it came out. So that's why Stone Cold always says, Bret is a huge part of the creation of how big Stone Cold got, because without the feud they had, there's probably no Stone Cold Steve Austin because Stone Cold was a big part of the Attitude Era. Stone Cold was the attitude in the Attitude Era. So that award was great. Those guys said some inspirational things. Stone Cold was Stone Cold. Brett was Brett. CM Punk was the guy who came out and announced them as far as the award, giving them the award, presenting it to them. You know, he's a huge mark for those two guys too, like I am, like a lot of us. We all are marks for these two gentlemen. They did so much for the business at a time where we all kind of grew up loving it. And, you know, it was a great moment. So that happened. And then, you know, Lex had his moment, of course. DDP came out and brought him out. Um, the moment that I really wanted to talk about at the Hall of Fame speech really is Triple H's speech. Triple H, it was a long speech. They clocked it at an hour, 8 minutes. It was funny because one of the first things he was talking about was saying that he didn't want to have a long speech like Mr. T. But let me tell you, buddy, Mr. H, you was pulling in kind of close. I didn't get Mr. T's time, but shit, it was over an hour as well. But yeah, Triple H though, I don't want to give him too much crap because he said a lot of cool and important things. I'm a person that loves to hear stories and loves to hear how things were created, how you know, the context of things basically, you know. And he laid out a lot of stuff. People that helped him along the way. He wanted to make sure he got a chance to highlight the people that helped him along the way, whether they knew it or not. And I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really noble of him. And, you know, aside from all the shit that we give him online about him being self centered and him being God essentially in the wrestling universe, I think behind all that is a really decent dude, yo. What I seen on that stage was a decent guy from New Hampshire. He still presents as such, as that guy from New Hampshire. That's where he gets his. That's why he's so grounded. That's where he gets his work ethic from. That's where he gets his identity from. He said it multiple times. He bigged his parents up, his sister up. Those are blue, you know, he's from a blue collar family, man. Shit, I'm from Connecticut. It's a blue collar, we blue collar out here as well. And he's from New Hampshire, and that's New England. We know it's blue collar out here. You get your ass up, you go to work because you ain't got no choice but to go to work because the cost of living is sky high. But yeah, New Hampshire is the second smallest state in the country. And shit, we're the third smallest state, my Connecticut. So, you know, I understand that. And seeing that nobleness, seeing that humbleness, I admired that. It gave me a different respect for Triple H as he talked through his speech and he gave the props that he gave. He didn't really miss too many names. Oh, at the same time, I thought on the back of my head, here's a guy that always wants to play humble, but when it came to it, he was highlighted and showcased like the greatest of legends. And nothing was funnier when Bret Hart on night one, when they came out to present the legends and Triple H came out with his grand entrance and Bret's like, Bret gave that look like, oh, of course, look at this guy making himself a bigger star than everybody. Like, of course, in Bret's mind, he's like, dude, you're not a bigger star than me or Stone Cold. And no one thinks that he for sure wasn't a bigger star than Stone Cold. So the way Triple H presented himself, not saying that he did it, but hell, he's the fucking boss now. He can present himself the way he want if you want to play the opposite end of it. But I thought that was funny. Bret, that's my guy. He's my GOAT, man. Bret is always going to be authentic. But I tell you this, he don't be always wrong. Shit. If I was as great as he was at the craft, I would be a little less giving as well as far as accepting everything I see. You know what I'm saying? Because Bret don't accept anything that he see. You know what I'm saying? I that's one thing I respect about him. He's always authentic to himself. He don't blow smoke up anyone's ass. He shoot it straight. How he feels about something, And you got to admire that about him. That's how the old school wrestlers used to be, the Harley Races and all those types. They shot it to you straight. Dusty Rhodes. They not gonna blow no smoke up your ass. They gonna shoot it to you straight. So I appreciate that about the Hitman. Hey, he's the only guy that I have on the wall over here. So, you know. But now on to night one. Like I said, this is no review. The highlights of night one for me really was Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. Those two had an actual wrestling match. I think even in a loss, I think LA Knight looked good in the loss. He didn't get squashed. He gave Jacob Fatu his best match thus far in the WWE. So that is saying something. Even in a loss, you can be elevated. So I think LA Knight hopefully should come away good from this, even losing the strap. Because listen, Jacob Fatu is a big fucking tidal wave right now. You're going to have to acquiesce to this tidal wave. He's getting over with the crowd. He's great in the ring, great on the mic. You got to put gold on him. And what better strap to put on him right now than the mid-card championship on SmackDown, which he and the Bloodline reside on. So, listen, it's a no-brainer. But those dudes had a really solid match. The other matches, like I said, it was all right. They could have been on SmackDown to me. I mean, evident one of those cases was New Day versus the War Raiders or whatever their names is. Yeah, come on. If we're gonna give AEW crap for having certain matches that shouldn't be on their card as far as their PLE is concerned or pay-per-view or whatever the hell you want to call it, then WWE has to get the same judgment, no? Like, what are we doing? Like, this sucked and it shouldn't have been on the card. They could have did a million other things in the tag team division than what they showed with that. But other than that, I mean Punk, Rollins, Reigns. That's what night one was all about. Let's be real. That really delivered as a main event. And honestly, it was the best main event of the night. I mean, of the weekend. We'll get into the other main event if you want to call it that, because that was the middest of mid. That was Arizona mid. And if you know those from back in the day, we had some back in the day, you know what that area was all about. That's what that presented when Cena and Cody presented. But anyway, the triple threat match between Punk, Reigns, and Rollins lived up. It lived up to the hype, the story, everything. Everybody came in with their interests. Rollins got his entrance. He got the flamethrower, and then he gets out of the all black whatever bubble suit he had on when he was doing the flamethrower thing. Then he had some all white on underneath it, kind of like Shawn Michaels' WrestleMania when he had all white on when he went against the Undertaker. So he did that. Seth's down in the ring. Roman came out. OTC. The whole thing. The whole Roman Reigns thing. The long walk, looking like a goddamn Adonis. The whole rigmarole. He comes down, no wise man, just him and his Uafala. And, he waited. And then Punk, to our surprise, Punk got himself video package before his entrance. And man, this video package was like 2 minutes and it was awesome. It was a montage of all his greatest hits, basically. All the faces of Punk, all the different hairdos, the different looks, as he evolved throughout the years at his time in the WWE. And, it showed Paul Heyman in some of the clips and it played his old theme music, which, everybody marked for, and me included. That's This Fire Burns is one of the best wrestling theme songs you can think of. So they played that during the package. So shout out to Triple H for that, giving a really cool entrance for Punk before he came out with, guess who? Living Color. Why the hell not would he come out with Living Color? Living Color came out, long riff, right into it. Just, I think their performance And this WrestleMania was better than the performance when they came out for him against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think that was 2013. This one was better. This was bitching. This had some venom to it, energy, everything. Punk was excited. He had the old yellow on with the pullover like hoodie. It was him and Paul doing a whole thing that they did 10 years ago. It was great nostalgia. Like, they did him really good. They did the boy really well for his first time main eventing, which is crazy to say. But, you could blame John Cena and Vince for that as well. But yeah, we'll get into John and Cody in a bit. But yo, you got to give him credit for that, man. Triple H presented Punk very well. But yeah, it was a solid match, man. It was a lot of spots, a lot of different things that happened during the match until the end came where Paul Heyman interjected with the chair. First, he gave it to Punk. Then, when Punk proceeded to grab the chair and go after Reigns with it, crotch shot. Down goes Punk. Once again, he turned on Punk, screaming at him, saying, I didn't want to do this. You made me do this. He felt really torn up about it when he did it. Even more so than I think when he turned on Reigns. I think the turn on Punk bothered him a lot more than his turn on Roman, in my opinion, if you see the confliction that he had. So when he turned on Punk, he said, oh, you made me do it, all this stuff. And then he proceeded to fool Roman and making him believe that, yeah, I'm on your side now. Now, Roman did get some chair shots off on Punk. And then he said, let's go after Rollins. So he tricked him. Roman went for the chair shot. And then he got his shot in the crotch by the wise man. Pause. But down goes Roman. He gets the crotch shot. And then the big reveal is the wise man is now with Seth Rollins. Now, we all knew that Seth Rollins, those who follow this, who the smarks, the internet folks, the people that kind of follow it closely, kind of knew that this was going to likely happen. That if there was going to be a big angle, the angle would be Paul Heyman not leaving with CM Punk or Roman Reigns, but leaving with Seth Rollins. And that's what happened. It was predictable, but it's okay. See, things can happen and be predictable, but it's how you make it. How do we get there? Right? We can all have the predictable ending, but you have to get there in a manageable and adequate way. And they did it. They got us there the right way. We knew it would likely happen. It did, but they got there in a really good way. So now Seth Rollins is I guess one of the top heels now, and he will likely be having the services of Paul Heyman. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe we will find that out hopefully we should find that out during Monday Night Raw. Hopefully it'll be a rocking show to pick up the rest of the weekend, because the weekend wasn't that great, to be honest. But yeah, that's what was night one for my liking. That was the best parts of it. Night two now, you had a lot of great matches. Now, notice I didn't mention Jey Uso and Gunther on night one, because they opened night one. And do we really need to mention it? No, we don't. We knew Jey was going to win. And the way he won was, okay, he won. Jey was over. Hunter said it during his interview. Listen, the crowd likes Jey. They relate to Jey. He's over. That's it. There's no other reason why Jey is in this position. Only the fact that he's over. Not because he's great on the mic. Not because he's one of the best in the ring. He's in this position because he's over with the crowd. That's it. That's it. People like their Yeaton. And he sells a lot of merch. So that's just how the WWE has always been, man. It's putting asses in seats and selling merch first before the wrestling and the actual art and the craftsmanship behind it. They always lean towards the business inside of it. So that's sports entertainment. Sports entertainment, baby. But yeah, so night two. Night two had a lot of good matches. I mean, you had the Damian Priest match with Drew McIntyre, Sin City match, which was, a street fight. I guess it was good. I mean, we're not really interested in a feud between him and Damian Priest. I mean, Drew and Priest. Is glad to see that come to an end, hopefully. So Drew went over. Good for Drew. Now Drew needs to go on to hopefully beating Jey Uso for that world championship. But I'm future booking. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me get to that in a bit. But yeah, Drew won. He beat Damian Priest. Night two also had probably, in my opinion, maybe one of the better matches of the weekend as well. You could argue probably maybe top three matches of the weekend. And that was the women's triple threat for the world championship. Io Sky won. She beat Bianca Belair and Rhea. Got the pinfall, I believe, on Bianca this time. So Triple H is booking Io Sky big, man. You got to give him credit for that. Io Sky is mostly liked by a lot of people who like professional wrestling because of her past, in New Japan and Noah and all these other organizations internationally. She's one of those real wrestlers. So she's respected in the business. So the fact that she's getting the kind of push that she demands with her talent is definitely dope. You know what I mean? Because listen, there's money with Bianca versus Rhea. You could do that match. That match should happen regardless of whether they have a championship or not. And you can move Io onto someone else. So those are, options that you have. So no one really loses from this because Bianca's not going to lose from this. She should turn heel, by the way, because that crowd wasn't really favorable to her at all. Like, she's been getting a lot of those kind of reactions from the crowds lately, and especially these big matches where they just want to boo her for some reason. And if I was Bianca Belair, man, I would really try to push turning into a heel. Be a bad guy for once. You know what I mean? See what it does. Listen, it liberated Naomi. She's having a bunch of fun. I'm sure Bianca will have a lot of fun disrespecting the fans, given how they've been disrespecting her lately. Now, I'm gonna just skip ahead and just get to John Cena and Cody Rhodes. That's what I really want to talk about. Well, the match, in my opinion, ended. It was funny to me because when I was thinking about the ending as it happened, it was like I was trying to just put a nice cap on it, like, and all I could think of was, it's perfect because as mid as that match was and how it ended and how you felt first of all, a range of emotions with that match. You felt whelmed by it, and unsatisfied. And that's John Cena's whole WWE run, pretty much. That match is a perfect representation of John Cena's WWE career. You just feel unsatisfied. You just don't feel anything. And that's what that match gave us. It gave us nothing. And to be fair, a big blame has to go to The Rock for this. I think The Rock put both of those guys, Cena and Cody, in a very tough position to begin with when he decided to be a part of this. And the fact that he made himself a part of this in the beginning and then completely ghosted the entire storyline, pieced out. I mean, he pieced out after Elimination Chamber. We didn't see him again, except for him being in front of a Rubik's Cube doing this thing with a New Japan shirt on. And we still don't know what that was about. Like, he just doing whatever the hell he want to do right now. And no one knows. Triple H don't even know what the hell he has planned. He just pops up with a freaking bottle of tequila and gets to rolling. When and where, nobody knows. It damn sure wasn't last night in WrestleMania. In Vegas. Dude, if you live in California, it don't matter where you live. You got a private jet. It's Vegas. You're a big shot in the world. They'll open up the airstrips anywhere you are. So I just really don't understand why The Rock couldn't make his presence known for that WrestleMania. I have my own theories though. I don't think it really has anything to do with Triple H. I think it's him. It has to be something where it's kind of showing, and this is for him not showing up. I think there's a little pettiness inside him where he can show the world, like, look, man, I made WrestleMania lit as hell last year. My presence, my greatness. They call me the most electrifying man of sports entertainment for a reason. Now, when my presence being gone, this entire run up to the big show, look what happened. So a lot of people, because of the WWE's propaganda, including Michael Cole being the puppeteer and leader of some of that, running around calling John Cena the greatest of all time. And I think that has to rub The Rock the wrong way because he looks at that, has to look at that as disrespect because look at it. Because I just have to look at this as some other move some pettiness behind it. It has to be something. Unless there was some personal things that had went on during the weekend or the days before that, then I take it all back because other than that, there's no reason why he shouldn't have been there last night. It definitely needed his presence. And poor Travis Scott, they just threw his ass out there as the front man, basically, to take all the bullets because, you know, he's going to get a lot of criticism because a lot of people didn't even want him a part of this storyline to begin with. So the fact that he became a bigger part of it just made it even worse. So it's not his fault that he was placed in that position. You have to say it was The Rock. So I don't know, man. WrestleMania was, like I said, a big pack and mid. I think it's time to really start criticizing. We've been on this love affair with Triple H and his booking, and most of it is good. And I respect how he leads. And as far as and a lot of wrestlers do respect him. And you know, that's not bought, that's earned. But that being said, dude, mid is mid. And this was a mid show. AEW may be a lot of things, but I tell you one thing, they kick ass when it comes to their pay-per-views, their PLEs, whatever the hell you want to call them. They kick ass. And if you want to compare the two, like a lot of people love to do online, then when WWE has a bad pay-per-view, you need to highlight it just as much as you highlight the good ones. And in this situation, this wasn't a good one. It was a mid show at best.